Well, hey guys, welcome to Bowhunting Soul. Okay, so today I'm going to do a review on the Tooth of the Arrow Broadhead. Now, these guys got in contact with me, or at least the people that do their social media marketing and stuff like that, and they're kind of reaching out to content creators, and they said, okay, well, would you like to review this broadhead? And full disclosure, in return, they send you these broadheads to review. I said, yeah, sure, I'd be interested, but I said, are you sure you want me? Because first of all, A, my reach isn't huge. Number two, I shoot a traditional bow, and a it's typically not a broadhead style that I would shoot out of a traditional bow, right? It's pretty large. And on top of that, I said, I'm really not like a whack and stack, big buck, huge antler, lots of, critter count kind of guy. And they said, no, that's fine. Go ahead and do that. And, we're just trying to get the word out about these things. So I said, okay, I can do a review on what I think of them, on how well they're finished, and how they spin, how they fly, that kind of stuff. So that's what this one is. Now, they come in a 3-pack, and this is a 150 grain version. This is like an 1 3/16 wide. It's a pretty wide broadhead for, in today's day and age. It's a 4-blade. They do come vented. There's a couple vented models. They go all the way up to 175 grain. I believe they go from 100 to 175 grain, depending if it's vented, non-vented, that kind of thing. Now, when I took these out of the package, okay, sorry I couldn't do an unboxing for you. This thing is extremely well finished. I was really surprised. You typically don't get as well a finish on a broadhead straight out of the package as this, unless you're paying like some pretty high-end prices. Like I said, they come in a 3-pack. They're very short and stubby, and I was really impressed with how sharp they were. There's on a couple of the edges, there's a little, there might be I've shot this a couple times, by the way, so there's a little bit of a burr, right? Just a very tiny. You can kind of knock that off with a ceramic rod or even a strop or something like that. But in general, they're extremely sharp. There's no tooling marks. It's a one-piece broadhead. Like, the whole thing is like machined. And this is a local company. Well, to me anyway. They're the company's centered here in Minnesota. Although when they shipped out of Texas. So, according to them, they're 100% American made. I've heard some really good reviews by other people reviewing this broadhead who have actually shot this and had success with it and things like that. And even out of a obviously out of a compound. I mean, this isn't necessarily a traditional head, right? But even out of a compound and things like that, lots of good success stories. Pretty impressive for a relatively new company. That is a huge cut, by the way. That's a huge cut. You don't, like I said, you don't typically see that kind of a big of a cut, especially on a compound, fixed blade, because companies are concerned that their arrows or their broadhead is going to not necessarily fly well, not necessarily because of their product, but because people can't tune their bows, and then the broadhead gets blamed. But this is such a short and stubby broadhead that I mean, even though it's got like big, let's call them vanes, right, blades up front, to kind of steer. They are still extremely accurate. Now, I actually shot these out of my Java Man elk cart, and I shot them out of my my ASL too, my St. Patrick Lake. It's a little bit light for the St. Patrick Lake, although again they do sell 175s. I happen to get the 150s, and both this Bear Grizzly here and that Java Man elk cart are shooting 150 grain tips. So out of both these bows, I was really impressed with the flight of this thing. They're quiet. They don't make any noise going through the air. They fly extremely accurately, no wobble whatsoever. I know I couldn't show you like spin testing, and I'm not going to do like the rubber band thing. I mean, I think you guys have seen me obsess about like sharpening and do those kind of things. More videos to come, by the way, on sharpening, a couple different methods. But I mean, you all know that I'm kind of obsessive about having sharp stuff, and again, super impressed how they fly. So I'm gonna take as a target over here, right? So let's walk over here. So I'm gonna be standing at about 15 yards here. Hang on, let me get set up here. Okay, so I'm about 15 yards here. I got you guys set up. I'm going to be standing at about 15 yards. There's a piece of orange tape over there. Let's take that shot first. I mean, that flew awesome. I don't know if you can see it. It is right just at the top edge of that orange. So let's go down and take a look. Oop, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna set you up this way, and you can see me shoot and see how the arrow flies coming out of the bow. Super sharp. I'm really, really impressed with this thing. All right, sit tight. Again, beautiful. Again, you kind of relegated to you know, my shooting, right? I mean, if you're gonna see the same kind of review out of a compound guy, it's gonna be pinpoint. But you know, that kind of shooting at an angle here. If there's any non-perfect hits or anything like that, that is 100% me, not this Broadhead. I'm so impressed with how this thing flies. Again, another 15 yarder. I don't know if you saw how nice that flew. Dead quiet. I mean, just, it's hitting awesome. Okay, we'll do a few more over the shoulder shots, okay? All right, so it'll be a 15 yarder for me. You're just heading just a little bit farther back from that. 15 yarder. By the way, I'm saying 15 yard because that's kind of like the area that I practice, you know, 15, 13 and in, 15 and in kind of thing. I've shot this out to 20. Maybe I'll do a couple more shots after this one, but this will be typically what I would try to set up for in a best case scenario. Here we go. I mean, that's right in the center of that orange. I mean, it flies awesome. So, all right, let's go back to 20. I'll set you up at 20 here, just so you can see some 20-yard accuracy, assuming I have 20-yard accuracy. Okay, so this is 20 yards. I can see 20 yards on the post up here, right? I'm not shooting 50, by the way. Okay, 20 yards. Here we go. Maybe we can do one of these. Woo! All right, I'm gonna take you down there just to prove I'm not BSing you. This thing is flying so good. Sorry, the target kind of chunked out the last time I shot. It would have been like that. That's what I was aiming at, right? So here's me, right? 20 yards. I mean, man. So that's really not a testament to my shooting. Shooting okay. But, you know, when you have a nice flying arrow, a nice setup, it just makes everything so much easier. It makes so much simpler. So hold on one second, and then we'll do like a little wrap up. These kind of broadheads, this kind of style is designed obviously as a compound broadhead. Now, by the way, this has retained its sharpness. I've shot this a bunch of times into foam. It's very impressive. And if you're going to sharpen these things, you know, I've never sharpened a 4-blade. We should talk about that. I've sharpened 3 blades, obviously, because, you know, you put the blades flat on a file or on a sharpening, you know, stone, ceramic, whatever, and just go across, you know, and then flip it over. So you've only got 3 sides to deal with. So you don't have too steep of an angle on those blades. Well, if you try and do that on this one, I think the angle that you're going to get, because you got 4 blades, are going to be kind of too steep this way. I'm not sure. Okay, again, I've never sharpened a 4-blade before, so maybe I don't know, we can contact the company and figure, ask them, hey, what's the best way to sharpen one of these things? But again, out of the box, They're really, really sharp. They weigh what they're supposed to weigh. They were like right at 150 grains for the 3 that I got, and you get like a little broadhead wrench, a little plastic kind of broadhead wrench too. Obviously these are meant for the compound market, right? The angle, like I said, is pretty steep on the actual blades themselves. You know, most traditional heads would be like swept back kind of thing, but honestly, if you had, they're so sharp that if you had a little more kind of, you know, kind of ass behind the arrow kind of thing, like this bow is only like 41 pounds, okay? It's not exactly a rocket ship, and then the shooting about a 500 grain arrow. Now, close range, super sharp, you know, 15 under, would I shoot this? You know, I don't know. It flies so well, and it will cut enough of a hole that I just might, you know. If you're shooting a traditional bow that has, I don't know, that's higher poundage, and you're shooting, you know, like something closer to, you know, over 550, 600 grain, maybe, I don't know, maybe you might feel more comfortable shooting one of these. Absolutely, you know, like a faster bow. Compound, most definitely. Again, I couldn't test that out of a compound, so I personally can't tell you how you know, good they fly or whatever, but, you know, from, you know, all the way close range, all the way out to 20 yards for me, which is about my max, these things fly awesome. Of course, it all depends on the tune of your bow. You can't always blame the broadhead, but the broadhead spins true. It weighs what it should. It's super, you know, like I said, it's super short. I'm guessing it's going to be, you know, pretty much bulletproof. I mean, the thing is, you're not going to bend this thing, right? There's no long ferrule or nose or anything to bend on it. You know, the tip kind of breaks bone. But if you look at it, and, you know, just straight on this way, look how big those blades are, you know, like that. Look how big those blades are in comparison to the main ferrule, you know, the main body of the broadhead. They're not, it's not any bigger, obviously, than the shaft itself. This is a normal 5/16 shaft. So if you're shooting skinnies, obviously that's going to change things up. But, you know, some, you know, really big, you know, giant broadhead like this have a really like fat ferrule, and that's more resistance. There's like less blade and more resistance. This is just like a lot of blade, and since the blades are like super sharp and come, you know, and they fly so well, that if you get this thing going forward, I don't know that it'd be an issue that you're I mean, you got the resistance of the 4 blades trying to cut, obviously, but you're not really having, you don't have a ton of resistance with the ferrule, you know, with the main body of the blade inside. So anyway, tooth of the arrow broadheads, okay? That's my kind of my best review that I can do. Honestly, do I know if I'm going to run this out of here? I don't know. Maybe not out of this bow, you know, to be absolutely honest. Now, this would make, by the way, an absolutely devastating small game head too, right? I mean, could you imagine a rabbit getting like hammered by this thing? I mean, good Lord, it wouldn't even be fair, right? But again, if I maybe if I don't run it out of this one, maybe in the elk cart, I don't know. Definitely the 175 grain version I would do out of my my ASL, because it's shooting a much heavier arrow, and it's got some more poundage and things like that. So I don't know, you guys can make up your own decision, but I'm like super impressed with these things. And like, again, I haven't bought out of the box broadheads in a long time. You know, I've kind of been the traditional broadhead guy, you know, like Zwicky and all that stuff, because I can sharpen them and I can mess around with them. Swamp Shark, same kind of thing. But man, check these guys out. If you know, I don't, from everything I've seen and heard as well from other people reviewing this thing, whoop, mosquito wants part of my eyeball. It's gonna be, I mean, it's super nice. Okay, I don't think you're gonna be disappointed. And the blood trails from this 1 3/16 cut, good Lord, I mean, happy hunting, right? Okay, all right guys, thanks for watching. I hope this didn't drag on too long, and I hope this was useful to you. So I'm going to leave a link below to these broadheads, right? It'll take you, I believe, right to their company there. And, you know, if you mention it, obviously, you know, mention, you know, where you heard the review from. I'd really appreciate it, you know, and I think they'd appreciate knowing, you know, who's sending them business. So like I said, I can only kind of vouch for the things that I can vouch for. Haven't shot this at anything or an animal yet, but maybe this year, maybe I'll carry it this year, and maybe I'll have some luck. So, all right, Tooth of the Arrow broadheads, right? Go check them out. And then this channel, please like, share, and subscribe. Really appreciate if you do that, and really appreciate if you go on Instagram and all that stuff. Listen to the podcast, Bowhunting Soul for all of them, TikTok. All right. So, all right, guys. I'm shooting this on August 15 or 16. Can't remember. Either way, I got like a 1 month left here in Minnesota before small game and deer opens up. So I'm super excited. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.